The ephemeral and fickle nature of contemporary narratives in society can often be misleading. The sources of those narratives are people of varying interest groups. And I just kind of spelled out very quickly what some of those are. People who are like afraid of change. Then there's the progressives who think change in and of itself is the right thing to do in order to solve the world's problems. And I suppose if there's problems, you need some form of change. So there's some reasoning there. People such as myself, like technology is the answer to all of our problems. And then there's the capitalists and the politicians who unfortunately are often self-serving. And all this kind of congeals together into a very confusing narrative, which is put out into society, and we consume it through, social media and news outlets and various other sources. It can be very confusing. So one thing that can give an indication of what's known as true north is where the money is going. Where are our investments going? There's been two articles just very recently that have been talking about electric vehicles and funding. First one is a Bloomberg report that came out late last month by Kyle Stock. The title of the article, and I'll link the two articles down below in the description, U.S. public EV chargers set to surpass gas stations in 8 years. And here's a quote coming from the article by Kyle, talking about the collective $6.1 billion in charging infrastructure investment just in this year, nearly doubling the investment in 2023. So we're on an exponential growth of investment into electric vehicle charging. And then it's expected to double again by 2030. Another quote from Kyle's article, and this infograph is sourced from the Department of Energy, referenced in his article, showing public DC fast chargers by quarter. And the green portion is Tesla, and the black portion is everyone else. You can see a big spike going up here. And another quote talking about how electric vehicles are expected to soar in sales to 2.5 million in 2025, just next year. So this year we're hovering around a mil 3, something like that. Last year was a mil 0.1. And in 2025, next year, we're supposed to be at 2.5. So we're getting ready to see a big jump. And anytime there's a technical adoption curve, what you see is not smooth. There's a line often drawn out with this S curve, but it's not a smooth line. What you have are these jumps and plateaus and spikes and things like that. So the investment is occurring because the trend is clear. The second article was done by the National Resource Defense Council, also known as NRDC, and it was dated August 12th. The title of the article was U.S. is now a global leader in attracting EV investments. The two authors are Jordan Brim and Dr. Simon Moo. They came up with this graph that shows the total investments. And as you see, the United States is this blue line is starting to spike up. Europe is pretty high. You can see Europe is the purple line. It had a really massive spike, and China is kind of plateaued. Their point being, and here's some quotes, that the United States is now the top nation for attracting, and I'm not quite sure because when you look at this graph, the United States is not the top. Oh, I think what they're saying is Europe as a whole, but the United States singularly as a country is the top nation for attracting EV investments. $312 billion planned investments in the United States, up from about $75 billion. And it seems to be a Democratic-leaning organization because they reference Joe Biden multiple times and the good things that Joe Biden is doing. Regardless, the data speaks for itself. China having dominated production, we're looking now at a pretty dramatic swing where the United States will be sitting on top of the production of electric vehicle components and electric vehicles themselves, calling out specific states: Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, and Tennessee. Another quote from the article: almost overnight, the United States is poised to become a global leader in innovative, cleaner, and cost-effective. Again, there's a lot of democratic buzzwords going on here, or environmentally focused buzzwords. Record investment in a cleaner future can help boost the economy, create jobs and communities across the country, and provide a cleaner, more affordable way of moving goods and people. And regardless of whether or not they have some underlying motives for portraying this investment, the fact that the United States has a massive spike in electric vehicle investments is unquestioned. The amount of infrastructure going in, both in DC fast chargers and also the retrofitting of factories in order to produce electric vehicles, the production of batteries domestically, and also the manufacturing of electric vehicles themselves within the United States has been a very significant shift. And they did this other infographic to try to suggest why that is. There's these tax credits, there's stable markets, and then there's standards. And all these things are coalescing in order to create a very positive investment environment. So regardless of what's going on in the narratives that are being thrown out there by various people, electric vehicles are here to stay. And not only are they here to stay, they're seeing fantastic growth. In 2025, we're expected to just about double as the precipitous increase in the S-curve starts to take hold. This all has to do with price parity and dropping of prices and the cost of components of electric vehicles. But anyway, it's a really good time to be able to watch this transition of our transportation drivetrains from internal combustion to electric. Thanks for watching.